Welcome everyone to the final episode of this crazy series that we have been having by the name of Unlock Growth Experiments. Over the last three events, we have been talking about acquisition, retention, and conversion. And for today, to talk about the conversion side of things, I have with me Raghav Shukla. Just to introduce him a little bit. So, Raghav has got a work experience of close to 6 years in the consumer tech industry around the digital growth and product teams. Currently, he's a part of the growth team at Urban Company, coming on the back of a short product marketing gig at Unilodgers. Prior to that, he was in strategy and planning role at Uber, where he played a part in the zero to sold journey of Uber Eats India. Outside of work, he spends a lot of time reading books, watching football, and killing time on Xbox. I'm really glad to have you, Raghav. Welcome to the chat.
Thanks, Ayush. Thank you so much. I'll take it up from here.
Perfect.
Present my screen. So I think, let me know if I'm not audible. My microphone acts up at times. So this is something about me. Ayush already covered it. Getting to the meat of why we all are over here. What is conversion? Essentially, it's understanding a platform to a level wherein you can identify that whatever traffic that comes on it, how can that be best utilized to get uh, revenue or get customers out of it or to get bookings out of it, whatever you want to call. So essentially, any amount of traffic that comes in, that has to go through this conversion funnel in order to reap any benefits to any of the organization. I think two big players of travel or mobility industry over here. You have Tesla on one end, Uber on one end. One question that most growth marketeers often ask is that what's a high conversion or what's a low conversion? Like what should be my benchmark? So just a second. Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah. So this is the benchmark. Essentially, Tesla gets close to 6.5 million weekly traffic, converts at 0.3%. Uber India gets close to 30 million people weekly, converts at 30%. At any stretch of imagination, you would not want to call any of these businesses having a poor conversion. And why that's true is because what is at stake? At a 0.3 conversion, Tesla makes so much more money than what Uber would at a 10% conversion. And hence, where I want to break from this is that do not compare to your neighbor or to a parallel organization or even to a similar organization in the same marketplace or industry to say that, hey, XYZ player is converting at so and so percent. So I should also be doing that. You need to understand your customer better. And that segues into this of who your customer really is. Uh, and how do you measure correct conversion? Or rather, how do you measure where your conversion can go in future? Broadly speaking, you can cut them into three different slices of saying that what's the demography of the person, where the person is coming from, as in what's the source of acquisition for the user, and at what life stage or maturity that the user is on your platform. Demography further breaks into three big buckets: age, gender, geography. And if I talk about all of them, look at examples. Age. So essentially, Disney as a product is not built for people who are older. So above 25 are not the people who are Disneyland customers. The customer is somebody who's under 25. And those are people who browse the most, especially in the new age world. Similar for Hamleys. So if you start measuring conversion on Disney or Hamleys, saying that, hey, my conversion is poor, that's probably because your customer is not the one who's browsing the app. Your customer is their parent who would be buying that ticket or buying that product. So understand that. Across genders, we at Urban Company have a lot of services. If a male user ends up being in a female salon strip, the conversion will be a big fat zero because they'll be looking at things that they do not want or do not fully understand. Uh, and hence, measuring conversion on gender becomes very specific to what product you're selling. Geography. Uh, I think one great example that we have for this one is during my time at Uber, we were launching Amritsar, and Amritsar was 25th, 35th city in the country that we launched. And once we launched over there, just give me 1 second. Apologies, guys. So during my time at Uber, we were launching Amritsar, and we realized that Uber Go as a product is not working over there, and we could not understand why. For the longest time, we did not see the kind of growth we expected over there. What clicked the light bulb is when somebody went to Amritsar and understood the geography of that place. Amritsar does not have wide streets where people live. The product that works over there is a Uber Moto, and hence understanding the geography of where your customer is living or what they're doing is equally critical. Moving to source of acquisition, I think this is fairly simple. We cut across people on organic, paid, and social media. At least I like to do that when I'm looking at people who are on the platform. Organic users convert the highest because they have absolutely no motivation, or they do not have any push from the marketing end to be on the platform. They came on the platform because they know about the platform, somebody recommended them, or they essentially understand this platform really, really well. Conversion is super high for them. Paid, anything, any marketing activity that you did, and why I've segregated paid and social media, I'll look into it, because paid traffic is somebody you have convinced to say that, hey, I am selling a product, which is great. So you have marketed that product to the customer. If there's a gap between what the customer expects and what you're offering, there will be some drop off. Conversion is going to be slightly lower. In my experience, social media is a third layer where uh, traffic does come, but converts fairly poorer than paid also. And it comes in from the basic belief of where the user is coming from. The user is coming from an Instagram or Facebook. They were already engaged in a platform when you showed them an ad and they decide to come on a platform. Their mind space was occupied somewhere else when you told them that, hey, buy this. Hence, social media is a great awareness channel, in my point of view, but not a great closure channel, as what some of the marketers will, or the performance marketers will tell you. On user life stage, users are essentially categorized into new users who have never been on a platform, never taken a single order, people who are active, who have taken at least one or two orders, they understand your platform and they've come back uh, in a good cyclicity. And then there are people who have churned out of the platform and now they're visiting after a very long time. So new users are there, and there's a huge inertia to try the product. And this goes back to your marketing problem of paid marketing also. But new users will essentially have a lower conversion. Understand that. Active users, people who are on the platform, who understand the platform, have bought multiple times, uh, will seamlessly go through the product. On an Amazon, I don't remember last time going on Amazon, looking for something, finding it and not buying it, because uh, I understood the product. I understood the price point of what Amazon offers me also to a large degree. So that's very easy for me. Uh, Super high conversion of people who are active on the platform. Churned. So this is a very interesting bucket where a lot of analytics goes in, because, and that's something you would have learned in the last session also, that 80% of your customers, say 60% of your customers churn out from the platforms. They never come back. And why they do not come back is, one, they can be deal hunters, which is an easy one, but at times there are pain points. At times there are pain points that you're not able to solve. For the longest time, I was not having the milk basket service at my place. But you can imagine if I was living in Gurgaon, I used to have milk basket being delivered to me. Now they've moved to Delhi and I do not have it. Uh, for milk basket, I'm a churned customer. Practically, I'm not, because the different pain points are not being, that's not being addressed right now. And why do I tell you all of this over here is that understand whenever somebody tells you that, hey, we need to increase conversion, what do they really mean by it? You have to drill it down further across these pillars of where there's room for growth and room for increasing conversion. My boss comes up to me at times, or has come up to me in the time in the past, and says, hey, let's improve conversion. And this is one broad question I always ask them. Like, what does that even mean? And this is a question that you should ask, because for me, it segues into two different problems. You have to essentially, when somebody says increase the conversion on the platform, they're saying that increase the platform quality, like the overall quality of uh, at what level this platform is operating. What that can mean is that either you get better users who are interested, who understand this platform, uh, get only those users who are uh, uh, top 20% of the audience, and you will have great conversion. The second way is that you create a better platform for them. And both of them are very logical answers. And both of them are is something that we need to tackle on. So moving forward, I'll break this deck into two parts. One's going to be better users, and that's something we're going to address first. Think, what do you mean by getting better users? And if you take a step back, it's pretty simple. You should understand who your user is, and that means contextual targeting. The person you're targeting, you should understand why you're targeting them. You should know what story you're telling to the customer, and that's contextual messaging. Saying that, hey, this is why I am talking to you through this medium, and the medium can be any channel. It can be an email, it can be a push, it can be a YouTube video, whatever it is. And where do you think that customer belongs the best on their platform? Saying that, is there a correct landing page that say they should land? If you end up acing all three of them, you should have a great movement in your conversion. Now, talking about contextual targeting first. This is a fairly simple diagram of, or I'll say primitive diagram of what a conversion funnel looks like. People come in, new users come on the platform, we spend money on them, we give them deals, they grow, we end up putting retention tactics, they retain on the platform. Some do not, they churn out, and the rest continue repeating on the platform. So this is what an average for a very, very simple consumer cycle looks like. Now the question is what you should be telling them. A new user should not be told about how this how this platform works or what's the most detailed part of the program. Amazon never tells you about the subscription products they have on it. They would never tell you that because it's a very complicated stage to be on. They'll just tell you about what this platform is about. You have to handhold the customer and make them understand what's happening, like what's happening on the platform and why this platform is very important for them. And this is the best thing after sliced bread for the customer. Spend time on building a good education journey, which can be both on product, Cred has done it beautifully, and on communications. Once the person is on the platform, you have to invest in three major things. You have to make sure that you can incentivize. And by incentivizing, I do not essentially mean that bring the price down, but bring the product to the level at which the person can afford. For an Uber, we started with UberX only, which was the most premium categories in San Francisco. We realized that's not where the customer is. We had to build an Uber Go. We realized in India, probably that's not also where the customer is. We had to build an Uber Moto or an Uber Auto. All of these products exist because there are people who are coming on the platform and their expectation is not in sync with the product. So incentivize them to make the transaction. Make it super easy. Do not tell them that how they need to add a credit card, or how this is going to be a yearly subscription. We're going to send you things every week. Do not talk about complicated stuff. Talk about easy stuff. One of the biggest growth levers for Amazon globally has been cash on delivery, which they did only for India. And why? Because it made it easy. It makes it I can order something, it's going to come at my home. I'm going to pay them in cash because India transacts in cash, and get done with it. Second part, building great feedback loops. Now, this is something which might not be super relevant to a lot of organizations, because building feedback loops is difficult. It also requires a lot of product intervention, but I still want to let you guys know about what I mean. And if you can build it for your organization, it's great. Uh, why do you think Quora sends you an email every time a question that you have browsed on or even liked on gets a new answer? Why do you get a notification when on Instagram somebody likes a comment? These are small feedback loops. Small feedback loops wherein I do not need to be engaged on the platform for me to go back to it. Somebody else is going to make an action on the platform, and that's going to be enough incentive for me to go back. One great example for it can be a loyalty program, which GoIBibo did a few years back, wherein every time a friend of yours used to travel, you used to get some GoIBibo cash. If I'm not wrong, if I'm not getting the organization wrong, that is a great feedback loop, because you didn't have to perform an action for you to be on the platform or to be told about the platform exists. That is great retention tactic. Moving ahead, driving advocacy, which is by far one of the most difficult problems to solve. Building repeat cycles, building how to engage a customer, how to keep them transacting is difficult. One example that people most often want to gravitate towards the loyalty program. And like loyalty program, I call it as a two-way street. And why do I do that is that best of the loyalty programs need to deliver both for the customer and for the business. If you are at all thinking that you're going to build a loyalty program, sign people up in, and not give them the kind of discounts that, or the kind of incentives that are required for them to be on the platform or the loyalty program is going to tank. It needs to be incentivizing. But you have to also make sure that you make money on it. And hence, these are difficult. They're very difficult, but make sure when you're building loyalty programs, you are taking care of your P&L as well as the consumer's wallet. Last point, churn customers. This is where 60% of all our customers always lie. One thing which one of my old bosses used to tell me that Raghav, the cost of resurrection is always less than cost of acquisition. And while as an anecdote, this might sound simple and vague, but essentially it means that you have already invested that cost on that person of acquiring them. And then there's a 60% chance that if you acquire a new one, they're going to churn out. So even if to call this customer up and tell them how you have been better now, or how you have changed the whole platform, do that. Invest into that. At Oyo, we used to do this. I remember there was a point wherein in 2017, 18, where we used to do a lot of win-back programs, and we used to talk about how Oyo has changed, how the 6 promises at Oyo are now being delivered for. And people we used to target were only the ones who left us a bad review or had a bad rating, because we knew their pain point. We knew that there's something's gone wrong with them in their last transaction. We're going to tell them that, hey, we are sorry. We have changed as a platform, and here's some incentive for you to get back going on the platform. So understand this part, that bringing back a customer is very critical. Moving ahead, on some examples on what contextual messaging means. I've talked about it in the previous slide across user states at what it would mean. But let's have a look. It's a new user email from a brand. It talks about, I don't know if you can see this, but it talks about three simple things. Talks about what I'm going to give you, which is every month they'll be sending us a box of samples. Second, they talk about how this is going to be easy, how it's going to be already curated for you. And then you can choose some and buy. This is a classic new user email where you're not loading customer with anything, just telling what the platform is about. What's the most simple thing that we will do for you? You just need to go ahead and get it done. So we're going to curate a box, we're going to send it to you, you just need to buy. Another example for an active user, and this is Ayush's cart. He has been buying a few t-shirts lately. But yeah, again, super active customer, you know that person has dropped off. A simple abandoned cart email. And why I use emails is because I did not have a chance to screenshot my phone on notifications, but notifications work equally well, rather better. So great email on this one, that you have left a few things, very simple messaging, very straightforward. Uh, why don't you go ahead and get this transaction done? And this is done only for repeat users. Another interesting one, Grammarly, that's a product I use myself. It's talking only to churn customers right now that you haven't been on the platform for a while, and they're taking a guess. They're taking a guess that because I use Grammarly on my browser more, or I do not want to have a secondary app, that's why I've stopped using it. And they're just communicating that to me. They're saying that, hey, because you've churned out, this is the reason why you probably would have. Now we are solved for it. This is again going back to the Oyo example. So this is like some flavor on how contextual messaging works. Moving ahead, this is where should your landing pages be? And before I even start about this, please invest some time with your tech team, build deep links. Do not understand what deep links are, read about it. They essentially are links that are going to make sure that the exact screen of your app is opened, even if you don't have the app installed. So if I do not have uh, Amazon installed, I'm going to hit on that link. I'm going to go to the App Store. I'm going to install Amazon. But when the Amazon gets installed and opens up, I'm going to go into the direct page that I want them to go to. Moving ahead, this is a classic marketing funnel. All of us have seen it multiple times. Awareness, consideration, intent, and then buying it. But I want to briefly talk about where do you want to send these people when they're clicking on the platform. When somebody doesn't know what your platform is about, send them to the home screen. Let them explore. Let them understand what this whole thing is about. If you think that they've moved to a stage where they're considering a product, or they're considering a service, or they're considering a large set of laptops, send them to a product selection screen. Send them to a screen where they can browse through all the laptops they want to. Do not send them on home screen. They have already made a decision for you. If you have an intent towards a particular product, if you know that I want to buy the MacBook Air 2018 edition, there's nothing else that you should be sending to the customer. Send them exactly that. The last product they dropped off from, or the product they've spent most time on while browsing on the app in the last 24 hours, these are two very, very strong cues. Send them only that. Your CTRs, your conversion rate through that marketing commission should go up. Last, not the least, when you know the consumer has already bought or is super close to buying, which is an indication of saying that you've added something on the cart, or there's a product that requires repeat buys. Send them on the screen that promotes repeat buys, or send them to the cart. Uh, Very simple stuff, but really, really helpful. One big example. So this is an email I got from Growthshops last week. It talks about a sale that they have. It talks about a sale that they're running from 1st to 7th. I was pleasantly surprised actually when I clicked on the banner, like the banner over here. If you can see the orange basket, I was sent to a page wherein all the products were listed. Send me to a catalog about all the offers, talk me about the offer, talk me about their hero shampoo, that offer they're running, whatever. But if I clicked on one of the icons in the below, once I clicked on this product, it sent me to a different page, looked very similar, but had the same product right up at the top. And I'm sorry, why is this important? Because the consumer has already made a selection for you. You do not want to send the consumer somewhere else. You send them somewhere else, you ask them to make another decision. So your conversion is bound to go down from this step to this step. Another example, Book My Show. No marks for guessing this one, but two different CTRs sent me to two different pages. And these are emails, by the way. So you can do it on push notifications too now. You have options of sending up to 3 CTAs, but this can be done. What I want to emphasize on is that user is always telling you what they want. They drop enough cues across their platform journey, across what they're clicking, across how they're behaving. We just need to make that wish happen. And once it does, it pleasantly surprises the customer and even me right now, when I understand the products decently well, that, oh, this is a beautiful experience. And it changes conversion. Trust me on this. That's all on the user's part. I think moving ahead to a more interesting place on what can be solved is, what does a better platform means? And this might look very similar to what I've talked about, but I have different things planned in. It's what do you know about your consumers? Do you understand them well enough that you can contextualize the landing pages? Why is there why the user is on the platform? Are you sure of what they're buying, or can you enable them to check out faster? And the third part is that, can you curate an experience for a consumer while not knowing enough information about them? If you just know some basic information, can you still curate an experience that's world class? Moving ahead, this is all on this slide, and I want to go on a monologue on this one, or not talk about anything. Understanding that increasing quality of the platform is critical, and this is where organizations are made or break. You will find all startup leaders who have who are highly motivated, who pick up great amount of funding, who have the hustle to get things done, who are go-getters. And still some products are superior to another. And superior products ends up winning almost every single time. It's rare that happens that you find a product that was not superior in the similar time frame, and they did not end up overcoming the obstacles ahead of them. So understand that building great products essentially does change things. Going back to something we talked initially, what are contextual landing pages? How can you make them, the user make faster decisions, or rather just make decisions for them? These are few factors. Can you customize them on age, on gender, on what they have been browsing lately? What is their transaction history? Do they have something in their cart? I think you solve on these 5 pillars, most of the things are going to get solved. One brand that does it really, really good is Amazon. Have a look at this. Now, this can get cluttering and overwhelming, but the screen on the right is my screen at 9:27 day before yesterday. At 9:26 is my mom's phone screen at the same time. Took the screenshots at the same time, try to understand what's happening. Look at the age bar. I am being shown a show which I watch on Amazon, which I haven't watched on Amazon yet. They know that I haven't watched it. So I'm getting that on my Amazon screen. They're not promoting me to buy anything. They're just telling me that, hey, my sister product has something. My mom's getting a cell phone, a Redmi cell phone, which has a 108 megapixel camera, which probably for most people who understand cell phones does not really mean anything. But they understand that they're talking to a person who's not having this information generally. when you speak of somebody who's 50 years old. Look at gender. I do not see a pantry in my top drawer. My mom does because she buys those things. More interesting. For the last 1.5, 2 weeks, we have been thinking of setting a workstation for my mom. I was given the responsibility to buy the laptop. She was given, no, she took the responsibility to get the furniture. I'm getting deals for the day. So that shows Amazon. For my mom, it shows chairs because that's what she's been browsing at. On transaction history, they know that I'm a power user. I buy something from Amazon each week. So there's this coloring book I got from a girlfriend. Uh, and they know that this book is not something that's sold a lot, but they understand I'm somebody who is on the platform so often that I will review them. So they are garnering this space just to get more reviews because they want to build a feedback loop over here to give it to some other customers in future. That hey, so and so people have loved this book. Abandoned cart, again, if you notice, I have one thing left on my cart. My mom has 14. A lot of them were masks because my dad's starting to go to work this week. Uh, we're thinking of getting more masks, and hence my mom's getting a mask deal. Understand how contextualized a landing page can be for two people. Moving ahead, I think this is. I'm not going to take too much time on this one, but I think two best things that have happened in the last 5 years or so is the amount of payment methods we have been able to build across the world, especially in India. And the second thing that's happened is that technology has done wonders. One thing I really am fan of is taking away the cognitive load of making a decision. Uber does it. You open your Uber right in the morning from a location. They will show you the first address as your workplace. In the times when there was no pandemic, that was true. I don't know what they're gonna show now, but and same day on a weekend you're gonna open your Uber. They're gonna show you probably the nearest pub or the bar you want to go to or the restaurant that you often visit. It's customized to that point that they have already made a decision for you. That they're pretty sure that you're going there. And hence just one click of the button, or rather two clicks of the button, if you have Paytm and you have money over there, and your Uber is going to arrive to your home. Food tech, they have been doing this for a while, repeating orders, which is saying, I got a Subway and a snack wrap. Why don't I just buy that again? Because they know that I've bought the same order for at least 2 or 3 times from this particular Subway, and they're more than okay. And it's highly likely that if I see this, I'm going to just click on this little button over here and move out. Removing barriers to payments, and this is something that needs to be done on a time-to-time basis of understanding that are there people on a platform who are coming who are not transacting just because they do not have enough payment options. Look at the right screen. There are at least 12 to 15 payment methods available on Zomato right now, which is great. Because once the person has reached that screen, what Zomato is essentially telling that no matter how you want to transact, I'm going to facilitate that any manner you want to. Like you do not have your wallet handy, go do a Google Pay. You do not have Google Pay or UPI setup, put it on a Paytm. You do not have that, take a cash. So Dexo is also up there. So huge win. Another one win on payment method is something which is very close to me is the stockbroking apps. In the last 3 to 4 years, what has happened is payments become very easy. The other day I was telling or helping my dad, this like a year back, on sending a transaction through UPI and set up UPI on his phone, transferred the money. The first question is he asked was that when will this money get debited and credited? Because that's the world a couple of generations have grown up with. Like the fact that the money is gone from your account right now and reach somebody else's account is amazing. And understand that how can you build these payment methods in your products, be it a small value or a high value product, and break through these barriers. Stockbroking apps have done it, Zerodha has done it, Upstock has done it. From UPI, you can add money in an account. You do not have to go to your HDFC account and then have a pay added and stuff like that. All this helps. Moving ahead, Ayush, do I have time?
Yeah, Raghav, you can continue. We have still 15 minutes.
Cool, cool, cool. Uh, so yeah, moving ahead, I think curating app screen. This is interesting because now I want to talk about how you can do it without having a lot of data, a lot of user queues. Some basic things are enough for you to curate your app. All you have to do is aim for or aspire for three different things. Can you have enough relatability to the customer who's coming in? Can you have a consistency of message? And with these two, can you promote discovery to a certain degree? Relatability simply talks about, can you have gender-based customizations, like a man coming on the platform should see products that typically he would buy. Seasonality based, like do not show a colorful holy creative around winters. And I know it's easier said than done, or it sounds like nobody's going to do it. There are people who miss this point altogether. Make sure that you can curate your apps with only a limited amount of effort and make it very thematic. Last, not the least, follow brand themes. I am not a brand marketer. I do not understand this world really well, but I can assure you having a consistent brand works. There are enough and more players. Look at a Myntra screen, it's going to look always the same or very similar. Look at an Uber advertising. Look at on, if you look at a Uber rides and advertising on TV, if you look at on a, an airport, if you look at on a YouTube video, all of them are going to be in a U frame. So essentially, the borders of all advertisement will have a U cut out to it. And that's subconsciously driving a brand into the consumer. So next time you see an Uber creative, have a look at it. It should be in a U frame, otherwise somebody in the design team fucked up. Consistency of the message. This is very interesting. One of the travel players does it really well. Follow through your creative. Which is saying when I'm seeing an ad for Marriott on, say, yeah, on Facebook, and when I click it and I go to the provider's app, I need to see Marriott up there. And even if I cannot send them to a Marriott page because they do not know which Marriott I'm talking about, what they do is they take the first banner of the home screen and make sure that's customized to the same creative that the person clicked on and they're coming in. There's a consistency of message, the consistency of design when the person moves from a platform to another platform. And that makes it very seamless. Third is another one is about reinforcing the key message. So if you're talking about a sale, say Big Billion Day, make sure you're talking about Big Billion Day everywhere. Do not talk about the 20% or 2,000, 5,000 rupee discount on an MI phone. Your key hero message should always be Big Billion Days. So that's what it is. On discovery, pretty simple. Make sure that you have your banners utilized best. You have enough products that you're recommending to the customer of saying that, hey, this is what you can buy. This is one of the best selling items. Do not put items which make the most revenue for you. Put the items which are most bought. Make finding offers for customer easy. Do not make it a treasure hunt. There's no need to make it a treasure hunt because people will find it. Put the offer right up there. That this is the promo code you have to use. And then again, reducing cognitive load, make decisions for the customer. I think what I want to talk about is that even to do all of this, you can just customize based on these 5 things. Which is saying you can customize on gender, customize on platform history, abandoned cart, seasonality, and what sales you're running on the platform. Pretty simple to follow through on. So this is one example that we have on gender, brand, and seasonality. This is what we do at Urban Company. Look at the creatives. On genders, a male state and a female state user, you're going to see a haircut for a male. You're a female, you're going to see a female haircut. And if you look at this corner over here, it talks about salon. I did not screenshot that part, but The next slide would be salon services for women. Talk about brand. All the creatives are essentially in the same color scheme. They are in the same design scheme. The creative comes like a U-shaped anchor from the top at all places. At all places, you have a single message, which is one liner, followed by another liner of what service is being sold at what price. Seasonality. We have like we know that AC services are still happening in South. We know RO is going to be a problem in West and Northern India. So baking and seasonality. So basic cues, and this does not require a lot of customer engineering. This can be done. Moving ahead to a case study that I did during my time at Uber. So what does an objective for a good case should be? That can I increase revenue on the platform? How can I do it? Can I make sure that this communication which is sent out to people is very, very targeted? Can I use all my channels to do this messaging? I can use my home screen, my app, my push notification, my emails, every single channel that I can expose a customer to. And can I run this in a controlled fashion? Something that we did in food tech was we built this. We built a platform, or rather, we engineered a platform where every single eater on the platform used to get a particular discount on a select few restaurants for him and her. And this used to happen every single day. So at any point, two people on a, not two, at any point, two cohorts of users did not have the same configuration of their app. The app looked different for most people. How did we do it? We did a level of eater cohorting. We said that, okay, eaters need to be defined and broken down into 64 micro cohorts. And they move between these cohorts at all times. So from 2 o'clock in the night to 4 o'clock in the night, there was a script that used to run that used to categorize eater into the new cohorts basis how they have performed on the platform in the last 1 week. On the other hand, during the same time, on the restaurant side, we used to rearrange restaurants of saying that which restaurants are doing well, which are not doing well, where do I have stock out issues, which restaurants are giving me discounts themselves, which are working at a price point which is unaffordable for most people. So this cohorting used to happen on the side. And then the framework used to run, wherein they used to match each cohort of eater to a cohort of restaurant through a particular discount. So a set of eaters used to have a particular discount, this 20%, 30, 40, 50% on only a select restaurants. And this used to happen every single night. We piloted this in one of the cities. We kept them as a test city. I'll show you the results on the next page, but this is something we did. Second part of the puzzle is how did we communicate? We made sure when we are doing this, we had the functionality to make sure that the banners on the app change basis what cohort you are in. So if I'm in a cohort that is getting 20% discount, I'm going to get that. If Ayush is in a cohort that's getting a 40% discount, he's going to get that. Even to the point if both Ayush and I get 40% discount and he gets on Behrouz Biryani and I get on Bawarchi, I'm going to show them the banners of the specific restaurant. That's something we did via product. We did discounting. We built our discounting tiers from 30 to 60%, and all of them had a different max cap to it. Essentially, 30% off up to 100, up to 150, 250, whatever. And these were like 16, 17, 16 or 18, I'm not sure, number of promo codes or iterations of discount that used to get applied to match a set of eaters and a set of restaurants. And all lists of offers would have different restaurants in it. And then the communication, all of this data used to get passed to our CRM solutions, and all my push notifications, all my email notifications were tagged, were talking about this offer and restaurant message every single day. And this is how we achieved that user state. What did it do for us? Our average order value went up by 15%. The discounting on the platform that we had to pocket from our own P&L went down by 25%. And the net revenue on orders, ballpark, I cannot give the right numbers on this one, was up by 35%. Overall, the customer delight was there. They were still getting offers. We were still making money. But we were able to pinpoint to the customer of what's happening. I want to quickly uh, move ahead to something else which a lot of people face problem with, and this is measurement. And do we have time? If we do not, we can share this one slide with them. There's
No,
nothing.
no, no, no. You can take 5 minutes, no worries.
So yeah, very simple. I think everybody wants to do an A/B test. Everybody wants to have a control and test environment, and that is the gold standard. The setup difficulty is decently high, but the measurement efficacy is excellent over there. I recommend anybody who can do an A/B test, please do an A/B test. If you cannot do an A/B test, there are 3 different ways that I know of wherein you can do a test which looks very similar. Look for a model, and your analytics team can help you. It's called a market matching model, which looks for different cities who are behaving similarly. Run one test, one city as a test, another city as a control test, as a control set, and run the experiment. Post experimentation, look for market match cities that did they perform similarly or not. If they did, then compare that to the test market. Hence, you are validating at 2 steps. You are saying that my initial assumption was correct, that these 5 cities look similar. City 1, 2, 3, and 4 continue to look similar, but city 5, where there was a test market, performed differently. What was the performance? So it's a high measurement efficacy. There's a amount of analytics that's required, but the setup is not difficult. You can do it. Another method which we used to do at Uber was a switchback, which is saying that you find even number of days on a calendar, start from day 1 till day end, and every single day, keep changing your creatives. Keep changing your creatives every single day, and then aggregate data. Aggregate data on the even days and the odd days. The difference between the even days and the odd days should tell you how your campaign is performing. Of course, the measurement efficacy goes down because you're not doing it completely scientifically. But what this helps you is that suppose it was raining in the early half of the week, it was not raining in the second half of the week, you are getting saved from this pre-post conundrum, because in the first of the weeks, 3 days were exposed to rain, 4 were not exposed to rain. In the second half of the week, 4 were exposed to sunlight or sunny days, and 3 were not exposed to it. The ballpark, you are able to get a fair bit of assessment on how the campaign was doing for you. And there's a crude pre-post method, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but a decent enough test. Better to not do anything. Take a duration before the test happened. Look at the run rate on how the historical data is looking like. Check on how the data looks like once you run the test. Measure the difference between these two. There's almost no setup that's required. You just go run the test, look at historical data. Measurement efficacy, of course, is low. I want to leave you with these 3-4 ideas. Would recommend you to start doing a lookalike testing wherever you can. It is fairly easy. Look for this market matching model. It is helpful. It has helped me in the past. That is all from my end, Ayush.